Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today's video, very important video as always, because as you know, every 6 months, every year around my birthday, I do a whole 180 personality shift, and I just like wanna be a different person, if that makes sense. Like I'm that type of person that always wants to change and always wants to change for the better. So what better way than buy books to initiate that change? And I always do this, so this is nothing new if you've been following me for a while. So yeah, these 20 books, most of them are kind of like to do with the mind and how to reprogram your mind, etc, etc. So a lot of these books I've had my eye on in the last few years, and you know, when I've been browsing through channels and learning something new, people recommend these books and whatnot. I think there might be a few fiction books, but I'm not too sure. I know that majority of this haul is non-fiction, so let's get right into it. This is the first little box that we have here, and I also got this from Book Outlet, so if ever you want a discount at Book Outlet, you can always look at my caption. I always have a little discount there that you can use on your first order. Okay, so I found a few fiction books. I'm gonna start with those ones first because that's when I typically start to explain and like read the backstory of the books. But for the rest of the books that are like, you know, more self-help, brain focused, the titles are pretty much like self-explanatory, so we don't need to go through that. So this is gonna actually be a quick book haul, although we have 20 books. So the first book I got is Mother in the Dark by Kayla Merui, and honestly this just sounds like such a good book and the type of book that I love, and it's like deals with a mother-daughter relationship, and I've seen it a lot on TikTok and Instagram. I've seen it a lot because I follow people with similar book tastes, but it could be that you've never heard of this book. So it says here, growing up in an Italian-American family in working-class Boston, Anna lives a simple but comfortable childhood, filled with homemade meals and front porch gatherings in a close-knit neighborhood. She and her sisters are devoted to their mother, orbiting her like the sun, trying to keep up with her loving but mercurial nature. When their father gets a new job outside the city, the family is tossed unceremoniously into a middle-class suburban existence. Anna's mother is suddenly adrift, and the darkness lurking inside her ignites. Her daughters, isolated and trapped with her in their new house, do everything they can to keep her from unraveling. Alternating between Anna's childhood and her 20s, when she receives a shattering call about her mother that threatens to blow up her precariously constructed life in New York, Mother in the Dark asks whether we can ever return home when the idea of home is fraught with instability. This story is about sisterhood, the complications of class, and the chains of inheritance between mothers and daughters. Delivers us unvarnished portrayal of the fragile horrors of domestic life and a young woman consumed by her past. So like I said, complex mother-daughter relationship I'm in. It reminds me of Rouge by Mona Awad and so many other novels of this type of caliber, so I am so excited to read this. Then I got Quiet Life by Eaton Joella, and I'm just so obsessed with this cover. So obsessed. It's so beautiful. It's so cozy. So it says here, Chuck can't decide if he would make the annual trip to Hilton Head without his wife, Kat. It's been less than a year since Kat died, and though he cannot bear another moment alone in their home, the thought of making the familiar journey without her, not stopping at their favorite lunch spot or listening to her beloved show tunes on the way, and not sitting together on the beach or playing cards on the deck is unimaginable. Ella Burke delivers newspapers and works at a bridal shop to fill the hours while she waits for news, any piece of information about her missing daughter. Ella adjusts to life in a new apartment and answers every call on her phone, thinking her daughter will reach out one day. Kristen Bonato works at an animal rescue shelter and mourns the death of her father, who was killed in a convenience store robbery. Once on track to become a veterinarian, Kirsten is now lost and unmoored, but her complicated feelings for two of her colleagues are a distraction from her pain. In A Quiet Life, the lives of these three individuals intersect in unforeseen ways as each character bravely presses onward, trying to recover something they have lost. Tender, emotionally powerful, and infused with hope, A Quiet Life explores how grief shapes our choices and shows that no matter how dark the most difficult moments can be, our humanity and capacity for forgiveness shines through. So this is actually a grief story, and it just sounds like it's going to be such a heartwarming story, and I'm definitely going to read this in the winter time. I finally got a copy of Ripe by Sarah Rose Etter. I just could not find the courage to buy it earlier than this because I don't know, I couldn't. So it says A Knife to the Heart by Carmen Maria Machado. That's her blurb. It says here, a year into her dream job at cutthroat Silicon Valley startup, Cassie finds herself trapped in a corporate nightmare. Between the long hours, toxic bosses, and unethical projects, she also struggles to reconcile the glittering promise of a city where obscene wealth lives alongside abject poverty and suffering. Ivy League grads complain about the snack selection from a conference room with a view of unhoused people bathing in the bay. Startup burnouts leap into the paths of commuter trains, and men literally set themselves on fire in the streets. Though isolated, Cassie is never alone. From her earliest memory, a miniature black hole has been her constant companion. It feeds on her depression and anxiety, growing or shrinking in relation to her distress. The black hole watches, but it also waits. Its relentless pull draws Cassie ever close as the world around her unravels. This just sounds like such a cool book about like depression, wealth in America, Silicon Valley, and the back has been blurred by a lot of famous authors, and I just am so obsessed with this cover. Obviously a lot of people have been, but in all honesty I've only heard good reviews about this book, so I'm very excited to read this one. Then I got For You and Only You by Caroline Kepnes. This is basically the fourth, is it the fourth? The fourth book. Yeah, I think this is the fourth book in the You series. I've read the first, is it fourth? Yeah, I think I've read the first two. I have the third one. I want to read the third one, and I want to read the fourth one before season 5 comes out, gets released. I know that they're not the same as the series anymore, but I still want to know how the book continues on. Then I got this book, possibly the most expensive book of this haul, but I really wanted to get it. It's called Art Monsters, Unruly Bodies in Feminist Art by Lauren Elkin, and it's basically self-explanatory, and as you guys know, I've been really into art lately, so yeah, I just needed this to complete more of my thoughts and opinions on the book that I'm writing, so definitely am excited to read this one. Just letting you guys know that my cats are coming in and out of the video, and it's just, that's why I seem so distracted, because I just can't control them right now. Like, they just get so excited when I'm talking to myself and they just want my attention. So yeah, that's what it's like living with cats, as always. So the next few books, like I said, mind books, organization books, creativity books. So let's just get into it. First, I have Building a Second Brain, a proven method to organize your digital life and unlock your creative potential by Tiago Forte. I was recommended this, but I don't know by whom. I just know that I had it on my wish list for a while, so I finally, when I saw it on Book Alley, I'm like, might as well grab this. Then we have The Silva Mind Control Method, the revolutionary program by the founder of the world's most famous mind control course by Jose Silva. So yeah, I've only heard great things about this book. It says here that this is an accessible guidebook that uses meditation and visualization to help you alleviate stress, overcome bad habits and emotional insecurity, increase creativity, develop concentration, harness your dreams, and deepen your relationships. All good things that I want to work on. So when I saw this, I had to grab it. Again, so as you can see, a lot of these books are about like focus, attention, intention, creativity, and this is no different. Have Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again by Joanne Hari. Again, I've seen this person give some speeches and I find his content interesting, and again, I'm severely addicted to my phone, so everything that I can read about how to be less addicted on my phone, more focused, more in tune into my life and creating content on my end is deeply appreciated. So that's the theme for this year. That's the, you know, I broke through so many barriers and so many addictions that I was living with for the last 10 years. But now the last one is my focus and my attention and social media and my phone and stuff like that. So that's what I'm working on and trying to be more creative and actually following through with my goals, my writing goals. That's something that I've been struggling since I started uni and finished uni especially. So it's just really sad and shocking, and I don't know if it's because of TikTok and social media involvement or if it's just me. I don't know if it's a personal failing, if it's a combo of certain things. So that's what I'm trying to fucking work on, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I said this year would be different. We're a few months into the year. It's been different but not different. I'm trying to be compassionate but also like sit down with myself and be like, no more bullshit, you know? So yeah, that's what I'm working on. I got some like manifestation success type of books. You don't have to believe in it, you don't have to support it, but if you do like it, I will start talking more about it, because that is one thing that has helped me a lot in the last year and a half, which is visualizing, scripting, manifesting, and you just getting back into those feel good intentions and mindset. And that's something that I haven't done in a very long time, and it has transformed my life, and it has made me into a better person and a more positive person. And I'm not talking about fake positivity, because fuck that. I will give it to myself and give it to anyone real and straight, but it has significantly improved my life. So I got this book by Jack Canfield, which is the co-creator of Chicken Soup for the Soul. It says the success principles, how to get from where you are to where you want to be. This is kind of a hefty book, and it came a little bit damaged. That's the thing about Book Outlet. You never know what condition your books are going to come in. Then I heard about this book in another manifestation channel. It says The Master Key System, the complete original edition by Charles F. Hannell. And again, this is a 24-week correspondence course. The Master Key System is a step-by-step process for achieving the success that you've always desired. Using the creative power of thought, Charles F. Hannell will help you understand and harness your own mental power in order to manifest the life you deserve. So yeah, I've only heard of good things, and the Master Key System is part of the GPS Good Practical Simple Guides of Life series. I've heard of that somewhere, I don't know where, but yeah, just hoping that it will help me. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit more woo-woo, and then we're gonna go back to normal creativity stuff. We have Frequency, the Power of Personal Vibration by Penny Pierce. And it says free audio download inside, which is cool. Again, I was watching this manifestation video, and this girl was recommending all these good books. I also have Manifest Your Destiny by Wayne Y. Dyer. You must have heard of this guy before. If not, then you should go look him up. Pretty good. It says here, are you weighted down with unresolved troubles? Do you feel out of touch with your environment? Do you complain, find fault, or take for granted more than you appreciate in your life? Based on ancient principles and spiritual practice, Manifest Your Destiny shows how the process of meditation can streamline your thoughts, desire, goals, and ultimately your life. So yeah, this is a shorter book. I have his other book. I haven't read it. I bought it last year, and it's your erroneous. It's your erroneous zones, and yeah. That one has to do more with like relationships and stuff. Speaking of relationship, we have Emotional First Aid, Healing, Rejection, Guilt, Failure, and Other Everyday Hurts by Guy Wench, PhD. And again, this person was, I don't remember what her name was. Her channel was like Manifest with Malika or something. I love her channel. And she was recommending this as like a general self-help, like for healing wounds and trauma in relationship. And you know, as much as I think that I've done a lot of healing, I do think that there's still more work that I can explore by myself, and maybe eventually with a therapist. But yeah, I got this one. I also got The Daily Laws by Robert Greene. It's 366 meditations on power, seduction, mastery, strategy, and human nature. Once again, you can't see it, but the cover is like kind of damaged, but it is what it is. This is a good book to start like at the beginning of the year, so I'm gonna do that because it goes from January to, you know, December. So I'm gonna start this probably next year. And yeah, I have his other books, so I figured why not grab this one as well. Hate him or love him, I do think that there are some practical advice that he gives. Then we have two books by this author, David Graeber. And I've only heard great things about this author, and I think unfortunately he passed not that long ago, like in 2020. And there's a few books of his that I've heard only good things about. First book is Bullshit Jobs. The first time I heard this, it was the duo by Inspired Collective. Like I always talk about them, Amy and James, they were talking about this book and how a lot of the jobs that we have are bullshit jobs, and how to find meaning and create a wonderful job for yourself and whatnot. So there's this one, and then there's also The Dawn of Everything, A New History of Humanity. And this book is really thick, and tell me why. I try to get paperback so that they match, and they don't match. I just love publishing so much. And yeah, this one is For generations our remote ancestors have been cast as primitive and childlike, either free and equal innocence or thuggish and warlike. Civilization, we are told, could be achieved only by sacrificing those original freedoms or by taming our baser instincts. David and David fundamentally challenge these assumptions and recast our understanding of human history. We will never again see the past in the same way. I used to not be such a big history buff. Like, okay, that's a lie. I used to love history in high school, but I just never pursued history, and now I realize that everything that I read has some kind of historical context and background, and I've always loved history actually. I'm just trying to correct more history books. It is more of a commitment to read them, right? So I have to make an effort at some point. But I'm glad to have these two books on my shelf. And the last few books are all by Julia Cameron. I love Julia Cameron. I've been reading The Artist's Way last year, and it really changed my life. It's made me do my morning pages, journaling, and whatnot. So when I saw that they had a few books by her, I picked them up. There's Floor Sample, A Creative Memoir by Julia Cameron. I'm really interested to read her memoir because she seems like a fascinating person. We also have Write for Life, Creative Tools for Every Writer by Julia Cameron. This is a new book that's kind of like in the similar vein as The Artist's Way. And the last two books that I got from her are more spiritual. So we have Heart Steps, Prayers and Declaration for a Creative Life. And we also have Answered Prayers, Love Letters from the Divine. So those were all my Julia Cameron books that I got. I think at this rate I'm going to be collecting all of her books and reading all of her books every year to just keep inspired and keep my creativity alive. So yeah, that's the haul. That's every book that I bought. 20 books to change my life, minus the fiction books. Obviously those were like just self-indulgent. But let me know if you read any of these. Let me know your thoughts and feelings towards manifestation, changing your life, creativity. What books do you recommend? What books do you hate? Do you hate Robert Greene? A lot of people hate him. Do you hate Julia Cameron? I haven't heard anyone hating Julia Cameron. And yeah, let's discuss. This is not like for a debate, but I just want to know what you guys think. What do you guys recommend? And yeah, as always, more thoughts and opinions about non-fiction books usually go on the second channel, unless they have to do with like fiction or works of fiction that I'm working on. So be sure to check that. I'm trying to revive that channel in the next few months. So that second channel requires a lot of work, but I like it that way. I prefer it that way because it reminds me that reading is not just for reading. Sometimes it's also for like analyzing and internalizing certain things and understanding things deeper about yourself and about all the works that you read contextually and intertextually as well. So yeah, with my initiative to spend less time scrolling and killing time on my phone, I would want to spend that time, you know, developing my skills, developing my reading skills again. It's really disheartening when you recognize that you're not as, let's say, analytical, or you're not that involved with the literature, as in like not that I'm not involved, but since, you know, you don't have that school pressure to like write an essay or to focus on the things that you're reading, it can be very tempting to just keep reading things and never think about them or discuss them. So I think moving forward, I'd love to just discuss books more and, you know, share my takeaways from the books that I read and what I agree with, what I don't agree with, or what I find needs more nuance and whatnot. So that's something that I'm working on, but once again, everything takes time, and it's much easier to film a book haul, right? Or it's much easier to just show the books that you read in a month than it is to like sit down and like actually craft reviews. And I've been writing down my reviews this year in my notebook before transferring them to online sites in my website, so that I can actually spend the first time reviewing the book and then a second time at a later date to actually go back to the book and get reacquainted in some passages and what my initial thoughts and reviews were, if that makes sense. I'm gonna stop rambling. If you want any book recommendations of certain genres or certain topics, let me know. If you want to know how I write my book reviews, also let me know. If you want to see more book reviews on the fiction side on this channel, let me know. If you want to have some more writing tips again, I can bring that back on the channel. But yeah, that's that. I'm a busy person, but I try to make time for the things that I care about. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are. I hope you're reading good books wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next book video. Bye!